Assalamu alaikum. Good afternoon, audience. Today we've got a very, very special guest, someone that I actually know on a level. Why? Because I do work with her in the school and I do take her class for Islamic studies. Apart from that, I mean, a very, very good person. She's fairly new. We still have to know a lot about her. And today's a great opportunity to actually know about her. So, without further ado, I'm actually going to pass it on to her. We've got a photo there in the background as well. We want to know about her photo, what she's doing over there. It's looking like she's taken the clothing off the younger sister, and she wants her clothes back. So that's the picture I am getting. But we'll pass it on. It's none other than Miss Waheda ALAMI. So she can actually correct me if I said the name right. So it's all to you now.
Thank you, Chef Rahan. Well, you said my name correctly, and I did share this with you that my last name is actually, I don't really know myself how it's pronounced. My father just created it when he was coming. He took my grandfather's last name, which was Alam, and he put the I to make it Alami. Now, in the photo, I'm the person wearing the sparkly yellow dress, and that dress was actually sewed to me by my mother. What my mother would do is, if she had any piece of leftover fabric from a scarf, she would turn it into clothing and I would wear it. And most of the time she would have the same outfit as me and we would go like that. The little baby in the photo is my sister, Nadia. She's wearing white. And I don't know how old I am in the picture. This is probably the maybe one out of two pictures that I have of myself when I was a child. When we were growing up, my parents didn't have access to cameras or phones that had photos, so I don't really have a lot of photos of me when I was growing up.
I think that's the case with everyone. I mean, we used to have those cameras with the reels in it, like,
Yeah,
those rolls, and then you have to take it to get it processed. So I think that was a very, very long and trivial process. But now we live in a time where you can just get a photo straight away.
and it's also isn't it so fun, Chef Rahan, when you do find those little reels and you try and put it to the light, trying to figure out which photo this is?
I actually do have some of those still lying somewhere. I know that I haven't processed. Oh, you never know. That will be my second job because back then I tell you what, they were very expensive. So
Oh,
you really wanted to make sure that you could also that was pick and choose as well. Can you please get me the second and the third and the fourth photo, not the entire reel? So yeah, I do remember that.
right. And then when you do end up taking the photo, you don't know if you've completely captured someone, whether someone is completely cut on like their head's cut out. You will know once it's actually printed.
That's right, and you had to be a really good photographer in order to to give the camera to someone. Because imagine spending this a lot of money to get these processed, and then after that, you only get photos with half the head off and
Yeah,
half the body off. So yeah, so it
right,
doesn't make a good picture there.
right.
Well, yeah, tell us about what you do in the school and also give us a bit of introduction about yourself. I mean, you're fairly new, so I'm sure that people would like to know about yourself more.
Well, I'm right now teaching year 5. I've recently just finished from university. I haven't even had my graduation yet, so we're waiting on that. I think it may be postponed until God knows when, with COVID. But I was also the primary chess coordinator this term, and so that was an interesting role to be in. I figured out that it takes so much work that people in leadership have to do, and it just makes you appreciate everybody that is in that role.
Yeah, look, it's a very challenging role, especially staying back and making sure all these children, they also being supervised, and also you have to wait for their parents. I mean, the catching up game for the parents. Like sometimes they forget their children were in chess club, and
Right.
and
Yeah.
then you're staying back in order to make sure the child is safe. Has that happened with you?
It has happened. But this wasn't from our school. I had a student that came from another school, and they came to our school to compete. and the parent actually forgot that the child had come to our school to compete. So, and then the parent didn't have the address of the school as well, and the child didn't have any, like, he didn't have a phone to call the parent. So I was with the child for approximately, I think, 6:30 until the parent came. So that was on the, I think, second or third day of chess tournaments.
Well, welcome to teaching world.
Right, yeah.
Hopefully you learn a lot of teaching without before you get graduated.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Well, look, tell us about yourself. What is something that you always wanted to learn?
So something that I've always wanted to learn is to be a good public speaker. And that's something, Chef Rohan, you actually are really good at, and I would like to learn from you as well. I think when I'm talking in front of a crowd, it's okay when I'm speaking to students, I'm okay. But when it's in front of adults, I get really nervous. So that's something I want to improve. And that's something I've always wanted to learn, to stand in front of a crowd and not be afraid to say anything.
I remember in our previous meeting, I was telling you, even if you're the best public speaker, when you come, on the podium to speak, that point, just at that particular point, it's those 30 nervous seconds. And if you get through those 30 nervous seconds, then you become a public speaker because everyone goes through those nerves. It's those early 30 to 20, or depending on who you are. I mean, I always admired people like Malcolm X, and these people when they spoke, they were flawless. So
Mm.
that was something I always admired, to be like them. I'm still working on it. I'm so humble that you said I'm a good speaker, but I'm still working on it.
Oh,
Is
yeah.
there anything else that you wanted to learn?
So when I was coming into the meeting, that actually came into my head. The way you said, like, the first couple of seconds will be a little bit nervous, but after that it will be okay. And I think when I was coming into this one, I was a lot more calmer. Maybe because it was the practice of the previous one, or it's just what you said stuck with me.
Yeah, it's important. I mean, I remember, going back in the days when I graduated, I came back and they said you have to do the khutbah, and that was my first one. I remember I was shaking, and someone asked me afterwards, have you got Parkinson's?" And I'm like, not really. It was just my own. I think I was, you're very excited. It's
Yeah.
that moment when you're coming into it.
I can't believe there was a point where you would shake when you're presenting. I thought you just come in naturally with that talent to public speak.
I'll tell you what, it takes a time. It takes a lot of time, and it's confidence that you build. So, as you said, I mean, you're so comfortable speaking to children, and when you go on, it's just you start thinking of the adults as well to be children, and you'll just nail it. Like it will be very natural.
Right. And going off that point, another thing that I've always wanted to learn, something very similar to Mr. Apostolo, where he said he wanted to skydive, I think it was. Right. So I'm thinking maybe if I take more risks in life and I'm open to more challenges, then I'll be not afraid of small things where it's just public speaking.
Well, look, if you want to do skydiving, it'd be a good idea to be on the same plane and see how Mr. Apostolo goes down.
Oh,
And
I
if
don't want to do it.
look, if he's going down that plane hard and fast, you just have to wait for the plane to land. So don't jump.
No,
Don't jump.
don't jump at all. It's too scary.
Well, look, it is so interesting. Like when you look at people doing those things, I remember one of the biggest things back in the days was bungee jumping. I don't know if that's a craze now, but
It is still a craze. I think is it the one where you're attached to a rope and then you fall
that's
down?
right. That's right. It's like a sling. It's like a rope. It's like an elastic rope, which just keeps on pulling you back and forth.
Yeah.
And
Continue.
I would never do anything like that.
No, I wouldn't too. You just have to put so much trust in those equipments. I don't know if I have that trust in those equipments.
Well, look, I'm scared of heights, so I would never jump from a rope. So
Yeah.
that's it, then and there. So I remember, so when I even looked down from a roof, I actually cannot.
Yeah,
I
like when
no,
I was little, I had the monkey bars that you would go on. I learned this trick where you could hold onto the monkey bars and reach the top, and then I would be able to sit on the top. But if I didn't have an adult with me, I wouldn't be able to get down. So I was stuck there for quite some time trying to figure out how to get down, and I regretted it when I reached that height of the monkey bars because it's so high when you're a child, especially.
it is. It's so true.
Right.
Anything else you would like to add? Because there's always a bucket list when it comes to learning.
Mm. Well, when I was younger and even now, I've always wanted to memorize the Quran, and that's something I've always wanted to do. I just haven't done it. I've memorized a couple of surahs here and there, but not the entire Quran. And then it's hard because I don't speak Arabic. I don't understand Arabic. I can only read it, but very poorly as well. So maybe if I develop my skills in understanding Arabic, and then that will help me memorize the Quran and learn more about my deen.
Well, definitely, you're in a very good space, particularly the school, and there's so many teachers actually that speak Arabic, and not just speak. I mean, you have so many avenues as well, especially in the classroom when the children are learning Quran, and that could be an opportunity for you to actually memorize a surah with them.
Right.
And
So when you do those Islamic studies lesson, you probably do see me sitting at the end, just hearing hearing the conversation and listening to the students memorize.
yeah, and then always there's so much opportunity that we can learn. We take life for granted. I mean, life's actually teaching us so many things. Right now, I'm learning about you, and so it's life is just a learning curve. Like we have to go through it. Like every time we're with in a new situation, we're just learning. We actually don't comprehend that, but to be honest, actually, we are learning so much.
We are, and that's a gift in of itself
It
that
is.
we're able to comprehend that knowledge.
Indeed, it's only even the Quran says that the signs are only for the ones who comprehend. And unfortunately, we've got no time because we're so invested in so many things around us, and we're only looking to entertain ourselves rather than really going deeper into that and trying to learn more out of that situation.
Right. Yeah. That's something that we all need to sit back and think about a little bit.
Well, my talk is, it seems like we're actually deviating and it's becoming more like a talk where where I'm trying to tell you what to do. So let's move on to the second question.
No, I enjoyed it. Thank you for doing that.
What is something that you really know well?
Something that I probably know well is I can pick up on really fine detail, and that really helps me in my teaching. And also, I'm quite good at sewing, at creating art, whether it be painting or drawing. I enjoy being creative in that way. I
Mm.
don't know if I know how to do that really well, but that's something I enjoy. And usually, the things that you enjoy in life are the things that you potentially do quite well.
Yeah, definitely. And then also, I mean, it's not just that. There's so many things that we know well, but we only realize that when people come to us asking for help. I mean, there must be something that people come to you as well, other than creative work. They
Right.
come and ask you for that. And they think you are the one who will give them the best advice or will tell them the right thing.
And I think also because I'm the oldest of all my siblings, in that sense, they do come to me if they ever need help or if they're going through a difficult time and they just need a little bit of advice or guidance in some way. Then they would come and speak to me. And I think in that way, I would say I'm quite compassionate, and that's something I probably know really well.
Have you been sporty? I mean, do you play sport?
When I was younger, I used to play sport. I used to play soccer. I actually broke my pinky. I was the goalie of my team, and I broke my pinky in that game. And the doctor wouldn't believe that I broke my pinky just by catching the ball. In
Well,
I was goalie, right?
I'm surprised. I mean, I'm surprised you actually play football. That's great. So do you still play it, or you still like watching it, or do you follow it?
I don't think I can play it anymore. I feel like I don't have the stamina, especially with soccer. You just constantly running if you're in the middle. So I don't think I've got the stamina,
Well, I don't think so. You have to worry about running because you're the goalkeeper.
yeah. So if I'm the goalkeeper or the defender, I'm more than happy, and I think I'll still really enjoy it.
And you better not be running if you're a goalkeeper because that's not going to be very good for your team.
No, exactly.
Well, goalkeeper is the only person who can stay put.
Yes, right. It's
Well,
been a long time. That was like when I was in year 6. I haven't played since then.
so you probably were, what do they call the Australian team? Socceroos. You probably supported Socceroos back then.
Oh, this is a bit funny because when I was in year 4, my teacher was she was in, I know eels are not part of soccer. They're more of, I think they're AFL.
No,
Right?
that's rugby.
Oopsies. Yeah, they're rugby.
But no, the funny thing is you Australians call it footy. So yeah, it's kind of football.
Okay, yeah. So that, and so I had another student in my class who would support the Tigers, and my teacher and the student would always talk to one another about the Eels winning, about the Dragons, about the Tigers, and I'm like, which channel are you watching this show on? I didn't realize that they're talking about a sport. I thought this was some cartoon, and there's dragons and there's eels, and they're versing one another.
Yeah, it's interesting, especially similar sort of because the way how lingo works. You're right. I mean, the tigers and dragons and the names they have, eels, and there's so many funny names. And I'm sure Mr. Jihad, he's into his footy, the rugby, what they call it. So he's into it, and his favorite team is Eel. So he can actually educate both of us on this game. I'm sure he can.
Yes, and I think it's interesting because, especially because I grew up in a family where we're all Afghans, we didn't really watch a lot of sport channels, and we weren't really into it, and we didn't really speak about it. So when they were speaking about it, it didn't really register. It just didn't connect. And I think that's something when we're teaching as well that we need to think about it when we're communicating an idea. The student may not immediately comprehend it. You need to visually show it to them, explain it to them, demonstrate it to them so they can understand it.
Well, there you go, teachers. You can actually learn a lesson from that rugby and footy and whatever the names are when you be watching it later on. They think of children like that. They can't comprehend. So you
Right.
have to visualize it for them. Well,
Yeah.
look, that was a great advice for the other teachers. Definitely for me. I'm not sure about the other teachers, but I can definitely take so much from that. Well,
Awesome.
tell us that things that people normally get surprised about you when they
Uh,
hear about you.
right. So I did say this last time, but I'll just say it again. I have altogether we're 8 siblings, and I'm the oldest. My youngest sibling is 3 years old. She's only a baby, and
Well, that's good news for the school because you're definitely your sister's going to be coming through the system, and there'll be a time where you might be teaching your sister in year 5 as well.
inshallah, that would be amazing with that many years of experience, and then teach. That's such a lot. I feel like it's a long time away, but we know time flies.
Time flies. Yeah, that's true. Time flies. I've been stuck in this country for last 13 years. Time's really flew away those 13 years. So
Right.
yeah, look, well, I've heard another interesting fact about you that people may be surprised because we were here before. Apparently you don't know how to cook.
No, I don't know how to cook. I don't know how to cook because a couple of years ago, I burnt myself. I received like 3rd-degree burns just by cooking noodles for myself, and I spilt it while I was eating it. And it spilt all over my thigh, my foot, and I was in excruciating pain. And from then on, I realized cooking is just not for me.
Well, look, this sounds like a very devastating experience, like especially, was that while eating it or while making it?
Well, while making, I was really excited, and I was really excited to eat it. But I've always been afraid of the fire, and even when you see like my mum when she cooks kebab, it would be on the hot flame, and it will just be oil, and the oil would like it'll spout a little bit, and then she would put it in with her hand, and she wouldn't flinch at all. She would just easily cook it, and I'm like, how are you doing that? Touching the hot pan. And I also saw people in Pakistan as well, where they would cook and they would like flip the kebab into the oil, and their oil would nearly touch the oil, but it's not really touching the oil. And I'm just like, how do you do that? How are you not afraid?
Well, because they've tried to do that, so hopefully you can try and then you learn how they do that.
Right. My husband's actually a very good cook, and he enjoys cooking. So, and I, and right now we're okay. He
Well,
cooks for us.
there you
Um,
go. You're sorted now, so that's a good thing. So as long as you got someone cooking the food, and you're not really calling Uber in all the time, so I think that's all right.
right. And I remember, Sheikh, you said last time that you want to learn how to cook.
I did, and but you know what? I did say that because what my teacher said, if you have more skills and more responsibility, will actually be put on you. So right now, I don't want to add that skill to myself. I think I've got a lot on my plate.
Right.
so,
But
so
if you would like to learn, is there a specific cuisine that you want to learn, or you
well,
just
as long as it fills my stomach, I should be happy with anything.
okay? Okay.
I'm actually not very fussy. I mean, I know my own relatives. They say, "What did you eat for breakfast?" And I said, "I had a biscuit with tea." And the word they said that was it. And I said, "Yeah, that's breakfast. As long as it's for, I feel that I'm okay. I'm full. I'm okay." So they're like, "You know what? I cannot have a biscuit for breakfast. I need those." Those chapatis and those oily ones and this and that. I'm like, you know what? That's yeah. If I get that, I wouldn't mind, but I'm happy with what I've had as well. So I think I've never been fussy about food.
Similar to Miss Osna, she's not really fussy about food. She's like, as long as it fills me and gets me going.
Yeah, that's the. I think that should be the thing because I do think that people waste a lot of time on these particular dishes and they're working hard. They want to eat it. They can only eat as much as they can. They spend hours on it,
It's
and
time consuming.
yeah, and I think it's not just me, but in that I also remember one more thing that you said to us, and that our audience would like to also know that you actually taught yourself watching movies a language, which is amazing.
Right. My father, he really liked to watch Hindi movies. So when he would watch it, at the time I didn't want to watch it, and I didn't really like it. However, that was the only TV we had in the house, so we all had to sit and watch what he was watching. And while I was listening to the language being played in the background, always, and I would watch their mouths move, and there were specific words that was repeated often, and I liked the sound of those specific words. So I would pick up on those little things, and I've over the time I've been watching a lot of Hindi movies and a lot of Indian movies. So I've actually am able to speak very broken Urdu slash Hindi, but I can understand if anyone else is speaking. I can understand what they're talking about. Yeah, so I think a lot of people say it's very hard to pick up on a language when you're just watching movies. And I've heard that this may be people say that this may be a false concept that you learn through watching films, but it's something I experienced. So I actually do believe if you watch a lot of movies or watch a lot of anything that you're interested in, and you watch it and you listen to it in another language, you will be able to pick up on words and then slowly develop that language basically.
Well, we'll definitely put you on the test for that one because I do speak that language. But if you want to know more about the Hindi movies, there's only two people in the school that you can trust. One is Miss Sayed and the other one's Miss Emil. I'm sure they have got the whole libraries jam packed when it comes to movies.
A lot of
Yeah.
people love Hindi
Well,
movies.
tell us, Amina. Well, I'm going to give you a test. How are you
My
going to
heart
say?
rate, my heart rate started increasing. Don't put me on the spot.
Well, I'm going to give you a test. So
Okay.
you have to say that you work in AIA.
मैं AIA में काम करती हूँ.
Well, there you go. You actually said it really well. You said it how my uncles would say it because the people from the north, because you guys are from the north, they have an accent when they speak in Urdu. So yeah, that's kind of like my uncle. They would sound if they speak Urdu. But so
I'm very pleased that I was able to say that. I thought I would have a blank moment.
well, no, you said it really well. Actually, you had no grammatical mistake in that. The only thing was just the accent. So
Yeah, I've
I
got a
mean, that would come. That would come. So apart from that, you did really well. Look, we've come to that point where we ask everyone to give us an advice. So, what advice would you like to give all of us? I mean, the people that are listening later on, and we are in those times that we all benefit from everyone's kind words. So, what would you like to say, all of us?
Well, something I remember saying last time as well is with when people experience hardship, they feel like it will go on forever, but just know that all hardship will come to an end. There will be light at the end of the tunnel, and just have faith and have hope that what you're experiencing now won't last forever. And also, because we're in lockdown, try and learn something new. Find something new that you're passionate about.
Well, I'm actually that's a very good advice. And what I'm passionate about is actually exercise. I haven't really exercised in ages, so maybe I I need to start exercising.
Do you have a bike, Chef Rahan?
I do have a bike. I bought it. The funny story is I bought it when in 2017. I've actually moved three houses ever since. I've always carried it with me, but but I never sat on it to
Oh,
go for a ride.
so maybe that's something you need to do. Yeah, for
Okay, well, look, I'm definitely going to work on that advice, and well, I'm actually going to take some time out. I'm very busy today. I've got a lecture at 7:30, but I'll try to see what I can do tomorrow.
Oh, okay, yeah.
All
You
right.
must be very busy, right?
Well, yeah, I've got a lecture on inheritance tonight, so I'm speaking about Islamic inheritance.
Is that where is that?
It's on my YouTube channel.
Okay, I'm not following you so far.
So all my lectures are on my YouTube channel where my seerah and other stuff is. So
Is
it's
that
not
what's
that
your name?
channel which you watch these videos on. It's another channel. It's called
Okay.
Covenant of Faith.
Okay, well, I'll search it up. Thank you, Sheikh.
All right, look, thank you so much for your time and being with us and really giving an insight about your life, what you really do, and letting us know about yourself. That was an amazing journey that I've had, and I'm sure that people would have as well. But that doesn't mean it's the end of the show. Now is a fun part. Fun part for me, not
Before
really for
we
the
finish
people
it,
who are on the other side.
I just want to say thank you so much for having me again, and you're doing such a fantastic job. I know so many people during this lockdown, they've been watching your interviews with the staff, and it's such a pleasure to learn more about the people who we are working with. We're working with them every single day, but we don't really get the time to communicate with them, sit with them, and talk to them. And I really appreciate the how you've how you have how we have started this initiative, and
No,
we get to learn.
thank you so much. I mean, before you go, as you know, the fun part for me, not for the people who are definitely sitting on that chair on the other side, but this one's an easy one. I tell you what, I gave you a hard one last time.
Don't say that. Say it's a hard one.
Okay,
Even if I get it wrong, then
all right, it's
it'll
a
be okay.
hard one. This one's a hard one. Okay, I'm gonna actually mute myself. I'll get you to listen to it, and you have 20 seconds to steal it. Or I'm just gonna mute myself.
Bankruptcy. Okay, you might hate us for this one, but at least it's short. A man pushes his car to a hotel, and when there, he tells the owner of that hotel that he's bankrupt. Why? The answer
Oof. You're on mute, Cher.
Okay, so he's pushed his car to the hotel and he's reached there and he says that he's bankrupt. Why do you think he said that?
I would assume he's probably is bankrupt, but how is that related to him going to the? Is it a hotel?
It's a hotel.
Right. Is he just trying to gain sympathy points so he can get a hotel room?
I don't know. Maybe that's the case. Maybe that's the case. I don't know.
Or maybe he's trying to get some fuel for his car. I don't know.
Maybe, maybe. You never know. These quizzes are very crazy, I tell you what. And especially when you're put on the spot, it makes it very hard as well. Oh, what do you think the answer is?
I feel like you know the answer and you're just like, come on, you should know too.
Well, look, I know the answer because I chose the quiz. So I know the answer.
Okay. Well, I guess I'm not one of the 1% smartest who can get this right. I think he. Okay, I don't know. We'll just go with he's probably. So he tows his car. He pushes his car to the hotel, and he says he's bankrupt. Well, I think he is bankrupt. But wait, the word bankrupt. Bankrupt. Oh, maybe, I don't know, Sheikh. Just tell me the answer.
All right, let's see what the answer is. So bankrupt, let's say that's your answer.
Okay.
Answer is he's playing the game Monopoly. Running.
What?
He was playing Monopoly.
Okay. I actually haven't played Monopoly before. So that's
basically you push the car in Monopoly and you come to hotels.
okay.
So that's what he was doing.
Oh, and then he was bankrupt because he didn't have any more money. Oh, okay. I would have never got that. Oh.
That was it. Oh, look, it was lovely having you.
Thanks.
And hopefully you can tell your friends. I might be able to finish this video off and hopefully it'll be up tonight. And so you can pass it on to your family and friends and they can know about you as well.
Thank you, Chef Rahan.